Greetings, everyone, and welcome. October the 11th, 2025. And this evening, we have some breaking news coming out of Estonia. It's kind of a unique story. Imagine with me for a moment that you are driving on a rural Estonian road. The next thing you know, you are surrounded by Russian soldiers, but you were on an Estonian road. However, the road is inside sovereign Russia. This could have happened, but not possible now because today Estonia closes that road. I'm going to show you all of that. In addition, I have the most incredible drone footage. Karma. Ukrainians doing amazing things on an electronic warfare system inside of Russia. You need to see this to believe it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. We appreciate each and every one of you. And as you can see, and as I've been talking, yes, an Estonian road inside of Russia. Sorry, we are now closed. What happened? Well, the border guard of Estonia noticed that there was an uptick in the amount of armed soldiers, not border guard, Russians, there in this little pocket. I will show you the road on the Google map in just a moment, but this is actually an image. This is the road, armed, their balaclavas on, and this was completely abnormal for this little stretch of road. So Estonia immediately paid attention to it and have now closed that road. I have a little clip here from Estonian news. It's in Estonian. I'm using AI to translate it, but it's short and you'll get the gist of it. We'll start with that straight away.
Of a larger unit, police and border guard. Border guard shared video of 7 armed men on road. Police aim to prevent incidents and ensure public safety.
So this is where it's located at. You can see, I know it sounds really strange. And so, well, seven armed Russians on the road. The problem is they're never there. This has been a historical place where just a transit goes through, and it is an Estonian road inside of Russian sovereign territory. Let me take you to the map right now. Now I can tell you it's no longer possible because it's now closed, but right here, of course, we have the nation of Estonia. And of course, this is all Russia. We're actually going to be looking right into this region right here. In fact, I'm going to zoom in for you now and you will see it. It's unbelievable little place here, but this is the border of Estonia and Russia. And you see this little, let me mark it for you. You see this little strip right there. Well, there is Estonia here, and Russia here. And there is a road that goes between. That road, of course, now closed. I'll zoom in a little bit further. And this is what we're talking about. See, Russian Federation. So the road comes, it's unbelievable, guys. The road comes out of Estonia into Russia, out of Russia, back into Estonia. And there is where Russia is. And this is the area right there where all of these groups of soldiers were spotted. It's really, really interesting. To be honest, before today, I did not even know this road existed. And I've been to Estonia many, many times, but you can see it here. The road coming out of Estonia. You can see the border with Russia right here, but there's no checkpoint or anything. This road just goes through and comes back into Estonia. There is one sign here. I'll show it to you. And it says, "You are entering the territory of the Russian Federation." It's for 1 kilometer. "Stopping vehicles and passage on foot prohibited within the next kilometer." That's the only thing there is. So now we have that closed. You know, with the borders, the drones, little movements like this is how Russia keeps pressure on. They're masters of what they do. Now, let's get to the next one. Karma. This is the second video that I promised you guys. Belgorod region, the Russians confidently expected that their new electronic warfare system would protect them. But the Requiem group, this is a Ukrainian group of the special unit Ballista, dashed their joy. This actually took place in the Belgorod region, and what you're looking at on the map here, circled in blue, is the city of Sumy. Black is the border between Ukraine and Russia, and over to the right is the approximate area where this drone strike against this electronic warfare system took place. I'm going to show you the video. There's nothing here but just the drone coming in. No loss of life, so no graphic warning here whatsoever. But you can see how deep in these FPV drones from Ukraine are also striking against Russian targets. Why are they knocking the EW systems out, electronic warfare systems out? Because there's a high chance that Ukraine is going to work very hard to put Kursk and Belgorod into darkness. This is what Russia is doing against Ukraine. President Zelensky said that they would respond in due form. Let's take a look at this one. I voiced it over. This is, you want to share this video. Here we go.
This is it, guys. All drones are done. Our defense is done. Look at what we have. But that's not the most important thing you see. This is. So, we'll laugh about it now.
That was the Russians talking. Here comes the Ukrainian drone.
Later, the Requiem group of the Ballista changed the score. Well, that's it. We no longer have expensive electronic warfare anymore. How's this even possible?
Is this war unbelievable or what, ladies and gentlemen? We're literally watching, that's the first person view of the drone strike. And then you're watching the reconnaissance drones give you the overview, and you're listening to the Russian soldiers talk about the strike. They're laughing. Oh, nothing's going to happen now. We have a great electronic warfare system. Just minutes later, boom, it's gone. This is the reality of this war. Now, in addition to this, we have a couple of things we need to pay attention to. Zelensky today, with his call with Donald Trump, considered it productive. They talked about weapon systems. They talked about the front line. There was renewed chat about Tomahawks. And Zelensky was clear to say tonight that there were other systems being talked about as well. But after that, the guy on the right, his name is Georgy Tuki. He is the Foreign Affairs of Ukraine spokesperson. He said that Ukraine is coordinating now all of the details for the transfer of Tomahawk missiles with the U.S. According to Georgy, Ukraine is receiving positive signals from the United States regarding the transfer of the Tomahawk missiles, and currently the parties are working on agreeing to the details and the nuances that are necessary. When you begin to hear talk like this, my opinion, the Tomahawks are probably already on the way. And of course, you never want to give your timing. Is there some hope in that? Of course, there's some hope in that. But additionally, even with other systems that have come from the U.S. over almost the last 4 years, this is kind of how it is operated. You're not going to say, hey, they're going to be here next Thursday. Of course not. They're just going to be there. But a lot of positive signals today. Now, on the flip side, Ukraine had some serious strikes that they are dealing with. One is in the Zaporizhia city. It is actually the Dnipro hydroelectric dam. It lost more than half of its capacity after a strong, precise missile drone combo strike, almost 3 gigawatts out of the 4 possible. And the turbines of the second hull cannot be restored. Now, this is actually on the dam, and the dam was hit as well, although not burst. And to be honest, it's not going to be a huge problem if that happened because of what happened in Novokhovka in the past. But with that said, Of course, we do not want any of that happening. Now, on this bridge, I can show you exactly where this is, and I'm going to. I and Zhenya, we've been here many times. This comes into the city of Zaporizhia. And if you look here, you'll see this dam. Now, I'm going to take you back to the picture right now. Then I'm going to put you on this angle. Notice in the background, you see three roads, three different layers of roads in the background. You see the power lines coming in and then the destruction down below it. If I take you guys back over to Google Earth here, I can tell you that this damage you're looking at is right here. And you're looking this way, and I'll flip it around, at this road, and this road, and this is the highway going into the center of the city. Of course, none of this is operational security at all. This is absolutely public information. Now, what I can do, and I'll rotate this around for us so we can see, but if I zoom in here for you, you're going to be able to see now that these are the power lines you were looking at, and the destruction is in this building here. This was a building below the dam. This is where the power center is. This is now destroyed. And if I come back here, look at there, guys, you can see the three roads and going into the center of the city. So this is a critical issue down there in Zaporizhia. The final thing that I want to share with you tonight as well is Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk right now is in a deeply challenged state. I'm showing you here the blue circle representing the parts of the cities Ukraine, and I say cities, it's Pokrovsk and Mirnograd is holding on to. Of course, Russia really trying to encircle and place as much pressure as possible. This map comes from the Institute for the Study of War, and they actually they show the gold as leaning Russian pressure. Deep State, of course, is always on a delay with their updates. But you know, you're seeing here some critical closure. Pokrovsk being here, Mirnograd here. Are there many Russians surrounding? Yes. Are there many Ukrainians defending? Yes. Is it a very difficult place? Yes. Is Pokrovsk and Mirnograd here already being destroyed like Bakhmut or Severodonetsk? Absolutely. And I'm going to show you some video on that. But if I come to the Deep State map first, and this will be the most conservative look. What I like to look at here, and I'll go the gray zone on this. I think it'll be more fair. From Krasny Liman over to the west side of Pokrovsk, it's only 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers from the potential of Russia closing in. And that's what they're pushing for. So those are the real numbers. And I want to show you tonight what Pokrovsk looks like because it's just hard to believe. This is some drone footage out, and you can just see destruction. The question is, Ukraine still holding Pokrovsk? Absolutely 100% yes. But the drones, MLRS systems, I mean, look at this. Everything is just destroyed. And it will continue day by day by day. So this is why Ukraine needs support. Now, I will tell you this, Ukraine doing an incredible job being complimented by everybody, whether it's President Zelensky, down to commanders, soldiers on the front line, civilians, politicians, you name it. The employees of the energy systems have done an amazing job getting power restored throughout Ukraine. It is not completely restored, and it is very unstable, but they have done an amazing job getting power and water restored to a large number of Ukrainians after the repeated multiple strikes on infrastructure. And as we close, you may ask, is there another strike coming on infrastructure in Ukraine? The answer is absolutely yes, 100%. Russia already talking about it. The planes are loaded, and we will wait and see what unfolds. But at the same time, I can tell you, Ukraine is doing the same. Tonight, they've been hitting Russia very hard, especially in some of the occupied Donetsk regions with military supply houses and in Belgorod region as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. I think the Estonian story there, very interesting, but that karma video on the electronic warfare, worth it all. You guys be blessed, and we'll stay on top of it.